Hey guys, so today I am going to show you a quick basic tutorial of Zoom, the mobile version. So I've noticed that students are still having issues with using Zoom, and I've noticed that they really like to use Zoom on their phone or on their tablet, which means that they're going to have to use the mobile version. So the purpose of this video is to give you a quick overview of the basics of the mobile version. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. And as you can see, we have 4 buttons at the top. The first one in orange with the camera sign is new meeting. So if you want to start a new meeting, then you would click the first button that you see, the start a meeting button. And you would make sure that your video is on. If you want it on, you would make sure that it's enabled. It also gives you your personal meeting ID. It's not anything that has to be enabled. And then you would click the start a meeting button that's highlighted in blue. The next button is join. So if you want to join a meeting, okay, maybe join a class, join a conference, whatever, you would type in the meeting ID that's going to be located on the invite that you received. And then you would type it in there. And I don't have a meeting ID to type in, but if I did, my blue button that's labeled join would light up and I would click join. So one thing that's very important, as you can see, it says join with a personal link name. Please, 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 please make sure that you have a professional name. So use your first or last name. That's professional. Use your initials. That's professional. But you don't want any made up like gamer tags or anything like that. Okay, because everyone can see your name. So you want to make sure that it's appropriate. You have some join options at the bottom. If you don't want to connect to audio, then you would go ahead and toggle that on. If you want to turn off your video, you would toggle that on as well. So it depends on what kind of meeting you're in. If you're in a classroom type meeting, then yeah, you want to connect to the audio because you may have to say something. If you are logging into a webinar, maybe you don't need to have your audio on or your video, so that's perfectly fine. But if you're in a class setting or in any type of meeting where you're going to have to participate, you want to make sure these things are not on, okay? The next button is schedule. So let's say that you want to actually schedule a meeting. Okay, this is where you would schedule a meeting if you're going to be the host. So you would go ahead and you type in, I'm going to do meeting 3. Type in the meeting. You want to make sure that you start it at whatever time. As you can see, the time and day pop up at the bottom. You want to make sure that you say how long it's going to be. Now, if you're on a basic account like I am, you only have 40 free minutes and then it's going to kick you off and then you'll have to log back on. Next thing, very important, make sure that you have the correct time zone, okay? So mine is on Central Time right now. Make sure that yours is in the correct time zone because you don't want to be late to the meeting or miss the meeting. That's definitely happened to me. If this is a weekly meeting, so say it's a meeting that you're going to be holding every week, then you may want to put it on repeat. And it gives you some options on how often you could repeat it. It has your personal meeting ID. So if you want people to use your personal meeting ID, then you would just turn this on. And then some meetings for security, you may want to require a passcode. And as you can see, it gives you a populated passcode here. And then you can change it if you'd like it to be something more easier. If you want to enable your waiting room, so that means that you don't want people to log on before you. You want to log in first, get everything set up, and then you want to be able to let them in one by one. You want to make sure that that button is highlighted. They also have some meeting options of if you're the host and you want your video to be on, go ahead and click it. If you want your participants' videos to be on once they log in, go ahead and click that as well. So there are some other advanced options, but we won't get into those today. Once you have done all of that, make sure that you save your meeting right here. Save it, okay? There it is, and you can add it. And then you save, add, and your meeting has been created, okay? Next thing, very important, is the share screen button. So I'm not logged into a meeting right now, so it's not going to pop up anything. But if you would like to share your screen while you are in a meeting, that's the button that you want to click. That means that you're trying to show something that you need the rest of the participants to see. So it gives me the option of entering a sharing key or a meeting ID. I don't have that because I'm not logged into a meeting right now. But if you did, you would enter it right here. Okay, if you have some contacts, you can add those in the middle, okay, by email address or from your phone. At the bottom, there is a meet and chat button. And it's not letting me quite click it right now because I'm not in an actual meeting right now. But that's where you would type things into the chat. Questions that you have, comments, concerns, you type them there. The actual meetings button is here at the bottom as well. And this is where you can see all of your meetings. So as you can see, I got a few meetings, okay? I have my test meeting that I created for today. And then I have some other meetings already set up. And this is where your personal meeting ID is located. This is where your start button is. So I could start a meeting from here. I could send an invitation. So the invitation has your meeting link on there. Sometimes it has the call-in number on there. So if you needed to send an invitation to someone who couldn't find theirs, or maybe you forgot to send it to them, that's where you would do it. And then if you want to edit a meeting, so maybe you put the wrong time, maybe you labeled the meeting wrong, you would click the edit button to go ahead and fix that, okay? So now, contacts. I don't have any contacts. If you want to add contacts to your Zoom, feel free to, okay? And then there's some settings. So as you can see, I have a basic account. It goes over your meetings, which we went over. It goes over your contacts, the chat, general, your Siri shortcuts, and about. And I'm just going to go ahead and click on each one. So the first one is meetings, okay? Remember, we're in our settings. So this is where you can mute your microphone, always turn off your video. They have several different settings for you to go ahead and look through. Closed captioning, very important for individuals who may require closed captioning. So Zoom does not give live captions, but if the meeting is being recorded, then if the captioning button is turned on, captions will populate for you. Safe driving mode, okay? So a lot of people are Zooming and driving. So they actually have a safe driving mode for that. And then there's some other settings down here if you want to go back and peruse those. Contacts, once again, so this is where you could match your phone contacts or give contact requests. You could go ahead and do that here. The chat. So please remember, the chat is not private, okay? Now you can chat to one person, maybe who's on the meeting, but most of the time when people type in the chat, they're typing it to everyone. So please remember that if you're typing anything in the chat, it will most likely be seen. So make sure that whatever you're typing is appropriate. Of course, you don't want to forget that it's not as private, okay? Here are some more settings for your chat if you would want to go in and kind of peruse those for yourself. Definitely feel free to. General, so they have some general settings. So blur snapshot on task switcher. And if you would like to hide potentially sensitive information from the snapshot of the Zoom main window, then you could do that here. Integrated calling. So if you want to receive incoming calls on your lock screen, you could do that here as well. But the most important thing about settings is that if there's something, that's happening with your Zoom you can't hear, you can't type in the chat, go to your settings, okay? Make sure that, that button is clicked or maybe it's turned off. So that's about the end of this tutorial. It was just a very basic mobile tutorial. If you have any questions, definitely drop down in the comment section of this video and let me know if you want me to go more in depth with a mobile version of Zoom, or if you want me to show you the desktop version as well. Please like, share, and subscribe with this video, and I hope you have a great day.